Hi Gigi, this is Michael from BetterTOEFLScores.com, and I'm looking at your email right now. You say, "Hi Michael, would you please listen to my audio recording for your feedback? I was attentive to speak in thought groups after reviewing the pronunciation lesson that you recommended. When I speak in thought groups, I think in grammatical chunks. Good idea. You can group things into dependent clauses, independent clauses, prepositional phrases, and so on, and make it easier for me to remember, in which I have to give a brief pause." And that's what it's about. I recommend, GJ, that you pause after maybe every 5 to 6 stressed, what we call content words. I have in front of me a copy of the reading passage that you're practicing. I have your voice recording over here. Okay, so let's get started with it. Maybe as we go, I'll try to give you some feedback on it. Okay, here we
Many
go.
of the sports which the ancient Greeks practiced and which made up a part of their own Olympics still survive in some way or other in the sports which we practice today.
I
Their
might
motivation
just say one thing here, and in somewhere other, in somewhere you might say, which made up a part of their own Olympics. So your tone's pretty good, pacing is good, still survive in some way or other in the sports which we practice today. So maybe with that word "other," you might maybe slightly inflect the tone right there.
however, was for practice for a war,
Their motivation, however, their motivation, however,
and it is in such motivation that one can understand the emphasis on martial skills such as wrestling, boxing, the javelin, and running.
perfect. So with the items in the series, your tone's going up, your pacing is good. Wrestling, boxing, the javelin, and running. And then when you get to running, the tone can fall just a bit,
While still including such less
while still including.
directly applicable sports as discuss and jumping.
Yeah, I didn't put it in there, but I should add. That's my mistake. Such as. Okay, let's keep going.
Over time, as interest grew in sport and competition alone, new sports were added, but it was these core sports.
But it was these. Watch how my mouth there. It was these, this, these. So with the E, you need to spread the lips out, make the tongue harder to create that. That's called it's a high front tense vowel. Ease, these.
which stood the, which stood the test of time,
Withstood the test of time. So with that T, you want to pronounce that with a little bit more aspiration.
and which have continued to be practiced in similar form.
So you're having a little bit of difficulty with those final EDs there. It's practiced. Practiced, which have continued to be practiced. Notice continued. So I have a D sound, and then practiced, it's more of a T sound. So the ED ending will change in its pronunciation based on the environment there. So continued. So we have continue, and then we have the D sound here, and then practiced. It sounds more like a T, the ED, because it comes after a voiceless consonant.
Right to the present day. Wrestling must be regarded as the most important sport practiced in ancient Greece. The
Yeah,
very name palestra,
the practiced. The most important sport practiced in ancient Greece.
wrestling school, must indicate its importance in Greek life, nor need you be surprised at this for all over the world in cultures far distant from each other. One can find
In cultures far distant from each
styles
other.
of wrestling and fighting, for it is a useful skill in war.
For it
Many
is
of
a
these
useful skill in war. Okay, so I think overall on a scale of a 0 to 10, I'll put you maybe 8.5. So I think you can do a little bit better as you got near the end of the reading passage. You started to have more problems with pacing and maybe some problems with linking a little bit within those thought groups. But overall, I can understand everything that you're saying. Okay, now I'm going to model the reading passage. Many of the sports which the ancient Greeks practiced and which made up part of their own Olympics still survive in some way or other in the sports which we practice today. Their motivation, however, was for practice for war, and it is in such motivation that one can understand the emphasis on martial skills such as wrestling, boxing, the javelin, and running, while still including such less directly applicable sports such as discus and running, while still including such less directly applicable sports such as discus and jumping. Over time, as interest grew in sport and competition alone, new sports were added. But it was these core sports, which stood the test of time and which have continued to be practiced in similar form right up to the present day. Wrestling must be regarded as the most important sport practice in ancient Greece. The very name palestra, wrestling school, must indicate, notice when I have the auxiliary in the main verb, must indicate, so that the stress lies on the main verb, not the modal auxiliary verb, must indicate its importance in ancient Greek life. Nor need we be surprised at this, for all over the world in cultures far distant from each other, one can find styles of wrestling and fighting, for it is a useful skill in war. All right, keep up the good work.